You're here to learn about recruiting, then you need to treat it like a business. Welcome back to another episode of All or Nothing in Real Estate. I'm your host, Matt Smith, the founder of All or Nothing in Real Estate. This podcast is a movement to give back to this amazing industry that's given so much to me and my family. Today, I'm going rapid fire, guys. I'm going to dive right in. I was recently at an amazing event in Tahoe with some of the top team leaders in the nation. And I was asked to host and lead a roundtable mastermind on a topic of recruiting. And so I'm just going to kind of unpack some of the lessons there of that I learned by hosting it. Some of the lessons that I shared, some of the lessons I learned from others that were there, and some takeaways and feedback that I've gotten, and also some tactical things that I've taken from that and applied to my business. That's going to be a big needle mover for our organization. So the mastermind was on recruiting, and I started every single one. It was like 4 hours straight of just, I think it was 20-minute sessions, just going around, and they were customized based on questions that we got. But I started them all with a very similar framework and talk track. And I started it with, so you guys are here to learn about recruiting. So let me just ask you, let's go back to the basics. Every single one of you have built pillars in your real estate business. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this room. And so I'm assuming you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. You don't have a real estate business. And so there are staples that are true that you have used to build your real estate business. You have lead generation. You have lead conversion. Every single one of you have, how do you generate leads? How do you convert leads? What is your process and cadence to follow up with leads? And how do you get them to closing? Lead generation, lead conversion, and like your closing process, right? So database management, pipeline management. Everybody has a database, everybody has a pipeline. And so getting everyone to self-discover what that looks like in their business by asking different questions. Different databases look different, different pipelines look different. All of that is true. And so I don't know what yours looks like. The point is you have one. And so database for buyer and seller business is buyers and sellers that are hand raisers, that are in our CRM, that we've worked with, our past clients, our sphere of influence, our leads we've created, our website visits, Google pay-per-click, a portal website, whatever it is. You have a database. Then you have a pipeline. What is your pipeline? The people you've met with, the people you spoke with, that you've had an appointment with, that you're trying to get under contract, they're further down the funnel. And what is your follow-up process there? What is your cadence, et cetera? So every one of you, whether it's strategic, whether it's just flying by the seat of your pants, you still have something that is a part of your business. And so what I talked about is like, if you're here to learn about recruiting, then you need to treat it like a business. So what is your database management? Number one, do you have a database for recruiting? Number two, do you have a policy of how you manage the database, how you move them from lead to appointment? And then how do you manage your pipeline? What about the people that you've set appointments with? What is your process and follow-up there? And if we just go back to the basics and principles, when we pull out, let's pretend that everyone is a great operation-minded real estate agent, which doesn't happen very often, but let's pretend that you are, or you're a part of an organization that does, and you have SOPs, standard operating procedures for your database management and your pipeline management. It's very simple to create a recruiting process, very parallel if you have it for your buyer and seller real estate business. You just replace the word buyer or seller with agent, and you copy that SOP for how do you lead generate, and now you lead generate for agents. How do you follow up? How do you stage, categorize? What is your database management policy? You replace buyer and seller with agent. There's a few differences you'll have to make, but it's very parallel. Same thing with pipeline. What is your follow-up cadence? What does that look like? It's the same thing. As a matter of fact, it's really almost identical to your listing process. You have a lead generation to have a conversation. How do you have a conversation with someone that is a homeowner, so someone that is a real estate agent, and someone that is maybe interested in selling their home, someone that is maybe interested in joining your team or your company, your brokerage, whatever. Same process. Do you have a pre-listing process of value and content and questions you ask and a process and procedure before you go on that appointment? I would hope so. Build that for your agent business. What about a listing presentation? Most of you have a listing presentation. What is your presentation, your conversation, your strategy when you meet with the agent? And then after you meet with them, you either get the paperwork signed at the table or you have a follow-up process. Now, there are some adjustments you need to make in a recruiting business. I don't think you should always go for the kiss on the first date, so to speak. On listing business, you should, but not necessarily in recruiting. It's more of a longer-term nurture, but the principles are the same. And so what I've got everyone to kind of realize and self-discover is that if you understand the importance of recruiting, are you really treating it like a business? And so I'm going to unpack where all of this came from, and maybe you don't understand why recruiting is important. So let me start there. Number one, the lifeblood of your business is recruiting. Period. Um, a lot of people are scared of recruiting because it's scary. Or I hear this one a lot is that, well, I've got a team that's working really, really well, and I don't want to disrupt it by bringing in new people. Or I don't have my onboarding perfect, so I'm not ready to bring people on yet. Go back and listen. Well, good news. I'm actually recording one next week, a podcast on our onboarding process. So go listen to that next week. But um, back to people that are maybe hesitant or, dare I say it, scared to recruit. I used to be that person. I used to run a team. My average PPP, per person productivity, was over 50 per year. I had a very high performing team. And I still have some of those agents that I'm blessed to, they're still part of my business, still business partners, great friends, part of our work family here. But also a good majority of those are no longer with us. Guess what? That happens. It's a life cycle of teams. From the data I've collected, being a coach and being a part of rooms of the biggest, highest performing teams on the planet, the average life cycle of a team agent is 3 to 3.5 years. And so hopefully some people will stay with us forever. But I mean, if you really just think about it, you left someone to get to where you are. And so I'm not of the thinking that I'm not oblivious that people will stay with me forever. I hope they do. I hope we're in alignment. I hope I can be the leader that they still want to follow. I hope I can provide opportunities for them and their family. They still want to be a part of it. I hope I can build depth of relationship to where they feel a sense of loyalty and want to be a part of what we're doing. But I'm also not oblivious to think that I can do that for everyone forever. So all that being said is what would happen if your top third of your producers left your organization tomorrow? What would you do? I asked that to a coaching client last week, and his eyes got really, really big. His face got red. He's like, damn it. Yep, I need to recruit. Also, asterisk side note, this particular coaching client has sold more real estate this year by the end of September than he sold all of last year. And I asked him and helped him self-discover what was the one thing that you did differently. He said, well, I added new agents and I recruited. Awesome. So what do you think we need to do more of? We need to recruit. And I think if we bring in new people with the right standards, the right expectations, and again, I'll do an onboarding session so you guys understand that part process as well. But the importance of recruiting is everything. It's the lifeblood of your business. And what I explained to this team leader was it's almost like it's an insurance policy. What if you had 5, 10, 15 agents 20 agents that you were in second place for, that if something were to happen, they would join your organization. Or they're probably coming, it's just a matter of time. How many people are you in second place with? How many people are in the process of joining your organization? And I think it just really helped him unpack and discover that I need to get more people that want to be a part of our organization. And it's not that I let everyone in. It's not that I lower my standards. It's not that I lower our values and just allow everyone to be a part of this. You still have standards, you still have values, and all that stuff is really important to uphold. But for those of you that say something like I used to say, and well, I don't want to recruit because I don't want to mess up my culture. Our culture is great. I don't want to mess up our culture. I love it. And culture is most important to me. But let me adjust or give you a different perspective to go through a thinking process that I've went through around culture. Is your culture should be important. It should be a priority. We have a saying in our organization, culture over sales. And I mean it. I've taken massive action to show that I mean it. It's not just something I say, it's I mean it. And so how can that be true? But also you're just recruiting like crazy, and recruiting's a priority, because both things can be true. Because also I realize that our culture is not perfect. Because also I realize that our culture can always be better. I believe culture is a living, breathing thing. I believe it's getting better or worse every single day. And so think about it from this perspective. Your culture is not perfect. What are all the things that you wish could be enhanced or tweaked or improved or changed or different with your culture? What if the culture had a little bit more activity? What if the culture had a little bit more excitement, a little more positive energy, a little bit more healthy competition, a little bit more willingness to learn this new NAR thing, or this new process you rolled out, or this new lead source, or whatever it may be? There's always things that we want to be better. We want to improve. Guess what recruiting does? It allows you to recruit and grow to your subculture, meaning the underlying stuff of your culture that you want to be better. You fill that gap and you improve those voids, and you make those changes and those enhancements and improvements by bringing people in strategically through recruiting to make those things better for your organization. And when you do that as a leader, it does nothing but provide enhancement and opportunities for everyone inside of the organization. So you're doing a disservice to your team if you don't have that mindset. That's my belief. I believe you are limiting the growth of your people if you don't recruit. How's that for perspective? So, all that being said, make sure you have a system and a process for recruiting. If you're still not sold yet, cool. Maybe I'm wrong. I just get to see behind the curtain of a lot of organizations, and there's a common theme with the ones that are winning at a high level. They're recruiting the right way. They have a lead generation system for recruiting. By the way, if you don't have a lead generation system for recruiting, let me know. I have a recruiting funnel system. Happy to share it with you. That creates hand raisers. We created, I think it was 58 hand raisers in the last 7 days of people that want to and said, "Hey, Matt, can I join your organization? Pretty please." I'm exaggerating with the pretty please, but you get the point. We're creating hand raisers just like we lead generate for buyer and seller business. What is your lead generation strategy for your recruiting business? Reach out to me. I'm happy to have conversation around that. We have a product there that works really, really well for us and for others. There's other people that have implemented it and raving reviews. So that being said, let's talk about someone that maybe still isn't sold on the importance of recruiting. Let's talk about and let's unpack, how much time, energy, and effort do you spend on getting your next transaction? How much time, energy, effort do you spend trying to get your next transaction? Most of you would answer somewhere to the realm of all of it. I'm always chasing that next sale, which is awesome. And I love that you have that hunger and you're trying to grow. Now let's unpack, what is that next sale worth? For math's sake, let's say it's $10,000 GCI. Cool. So you're spending all your time, energy, money, resources to chase 10,000. Now let's unpack, how many houses does your average agent sell per year? Let's call it 20, 15, 10, whatever number you want to say. Let's be super conservative and let's call it 10, right? Most of you team leaders will outperform that, but let's say it's 10, super conservative. And let's go back to the math that we know. The average team agent stays with us 3.5 years. So that is 35 closings for 3.5 years at $5,000, assuming 50% GCI. Let me do some math. 35 times 5,000. It's $175,000. Which one of those are you spending more time, energy, money, resources on? Chasing 10,000 or chasing 175,000? We have our priorities backwards, because whether you realize it or not, when you became a leader, you are now in the people business, not the transaction business. It doesn't mean you can't do transactions. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm making a point here to make sure that you understand that recruiting needs to be a very important part of your business, and you need to do it intentionally. Just like you coach your agents to prospect and follow up an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, to make sure they clean their smart list up and follow up us, to make sure they have a lead generation strategy, to make sure they follow up their pipeline. Follow those same principles and guidelines for your recruiting business. and your life becomes so much easier as a leader. And that's how you grow and how you scale. It's through people, through the right people, through the right training, and then the standards of your organization continually rise. You bring people in that help protect your culture and make it better. There's just so many good things that happen if you understand the importance of recruiting and you treat it like it's a business. You treat it like you have a database of recruits, that if you have our funnels or you have some sort of lead generation strategy, you're not cold calling people. Most of you don't cold call in your real estate business. Why are you cold calling in your recruiting business? Your recruiting conversation should be educate and inform, just like the value you're trying to provide to your consumers, to the buyers and sellers. What is your value you are providing to your real estate agent database? That's where our funnels come in. We're creating hand raisers, and I'm reaching out to people that are opening my emails, my value-based email campaign. I'm happy to share that with you if you'd like more information on that. It's not a plug and play system. You got to get creative and you got to actually be relevant. But here's a shortcut to it. Get a database strategically of people that are your avatar in your marketplace and send one value-based email a week. Then guess what? You call the people that opened it. What a concept, right? But if you want to take it further than that, again, the funnels are there. It's a lead generation machine. You got to run the play, but we give you the play to run, and it's been proven over and over and over again. I think we're over 3,000 leads that we've created in our small marketplace of people that have raised their hand and asked, "Man, can I join your organization?" So once they do that, though, what is your strategy? Are you building a database strategically in your recruiting business, just like you are in your buyer and seller business? Do you have a database management plan? Do you have a staging plan? Who should you follow up with weekly? Who has recently visited your site or opened your emails? Who is your biweeklies? Who are your monthlies? Who are the people that you need to provide more value to that maybe you had a meeting with and they're not quite ready to join? It's super important you run a recruiting business like it's a business, and then it will become one. And then you have the insurance policy, and your growth and your trajectory is in your control if you really master recruiting. So this was a short one. I wanted to be just down and dirty and give you guys some advice here. Recruiting is the lifeblood of your business. If you treat it like a business, it will become one, and your company, your organization, your culture, your standards, your people will all grow because of it. And I truly believe if you're not recruiting intentionally, bringing on the right people with the right standards and growing from the bottom up in your organization, you are doing the people that trust you and rely on you each and every day to lead them, you are doing them a disservice, because you could be bringing in so many good people that can help them grow. And I think that's our responsibility as leaders. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Hope this was helpful. As always, I'm here to help. If there's anything I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to be a resource. If you want more information on the recruiting funnels, it's the domain is 3recruitingfunnelsbuilt.com. 3recruitingfunnelsbuilt.com will get you more information on the recruiting funnels. And even if you're just curious and you want more information, check out the site, send me a message. You got my number, reach out via text. I'm happy to talk through those. I'm happy to share my database management policy for recruits. I've been working really diligently on that after the mastermind at Tahoe. But again, those team leaders really, their takeaway that I got from them was, if they treat it like a business, it will become a business. And so that's my advice to you. And I share this because I want you to win. So I hope this helped, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.